Hi, I'm Rachel Hyman-Sisco, and I'm running for president for 2028 because I don't want Trump to win. And I know everyone's saying he can't do it, he can't do it, he can't do it. He's selling merchandise for 2028. He's doing anything he wants at any point in time and gets away with it. So I understand that he can't run, but for some reason, that's why I'm going to try and do this. And even if he doesn't run, I would like to try my hand at being president of the United States. I want to talk about affordability. I hear affordability a lot. Platform, eggs are too expensive, that whole thing. So I just want to explain something to you guys. Presidents are not in charge of how much eggs are sold for. If they are, it would be minuscule. No president goes and tells Walmart how much to sell eggs for. Think about economics class, basic supply and demand. That's with anything. When it comes down to it, it's about supply and demand. Do they have it? Does somebody want it? And if they don't have it, the price would go up if there was the demand. Now think about it. With eggs, for example, we had a lot of swine flu across the board. It's extremely contagious. So contagious, I'm going to just tell you this little snippet. Uber and Lyft driver giving a ride to a gal who worked at the St. Louis Zoo, and she was in charge of penguins. And she was talking about how great they are, but they're not doing tours anymore. I said, why aren't you doing tours of penguins? She said, because we're afraid that they'll get the bird flu. So even birds flying over could get droppings on the penguins and make them sick. And having people go in to the tours with, say they stepped in something that had like bird droppings or whatever, and they step in it and they take into that enclosure that stuff. So bird flu is extremely contagious. And if you think about, I don't know how many people are out there pay attention to how the close proximity of the chickens, and I've seen firsthand driving through Texas, how close those chickens are and how close that cattle is. And it's horrible. They're practically living on top of each other. So if one got it, all of them got it, which means that they figure that out and they decide not to sell those eggs. That's a bunch. And it wasn't just one farm that it affected, a lot of different ones. And I can't tell you off the top of my head what they were. I'm sure you could look it up. But there's a shortage of healthy, non-contaminated eggs. And so you worry, so the supply is low, much lower than normal when you have a healthy bird, a healthy season. But the demand, and if you really want your cheap eggs, you go to the farmer, because if you don't go to the farmer, gets those eggs, sells them to wholesaler, the wholesaler sells them to retail. Everybody has to make a profit. It's called a business. It's called capitalism. The government cannot price groceries. You could sell one egg for $20 if someone's gonna buy it. And that's how you bring down costs. If you think they're that's how you bring down costs. If you think they're too expensive, then you don't buy them. Less demand, prices come down. It's the same thing with gas, milk, chicken. So the only way that I could help with the price of eggs as president is if we had, and this goes on a much bigger level, but if we really cared about the price of eggs, we would put tougher restrictions on how these animals are being treated and enforce it. They should not be on top of each other. They should have room to grow. Free range isn't necessarily what you're thinking. So when, if government can enforce healthy laws for these animals, we should be able to maintain the amount of meat, eggs, milk, whatever, anything that comes from an animal. We have to make sure that they're safe. And antibiotics are a good thing for animals. A lot of people say, oh, no antibiotics. Does anyone know what antibiotics are used for? They're used to kill germs. So if you don't give someone who needs antibiotics, if you don't give them to them, they could die. It goes the same for animals. And if they don't get antibiotics and they need them, you can get sick. Because not every place that does that, I'm just going to say it, slaughterhouse. Not every slaughterhouse cares whether there's an infection on the leg or not. They don't care. They could use the whole cow. Now, kosher meat, this is what you want to look for. You want to look for kosher meat because when it says kosher on it, that means that any part of the animal is bad. If it has an ingrown toenail, that animal doesn't get used. They make sure that the animal is completely sanitary. It's blessed by the rabbi. It's killed humanely. And that's what kosher meat's about. Can't find it very often, but if you can, it's more expensive. But, that it's the best thing that you guys would want to eat. Anyone who is against Jews and doesn't want to eat kosher meat, you have fun with your disease-ridden meat. You deserve it. So we covered bird flu and supply and demand. And what you guys have to remember, if somebody is out there saying we can bring grocery prices down, scratch them off the list. They don't control that. And if they do control the prices, if the government were to control the prices, that would be communism, which is completely different. And if you guys are big on capitalism, then capitalism's gotten out of control a lot. Rachel Hyman-Sisco,